Travels by Broomstick comes to you from South Wales, the land of the dragon. Oh, and sheep. We got lots of sheep. Welcome to all you good people out there in podcast land. So, let's get the broomstick out the garage, and off we go. Today's journey takes us to a spooky little spot in Stourbridge. This is in the West Midlands, in England, and it's called Gibbet Lane.
I want to give a big shout out to Drew from the YouTube channel Midlands Outdoors. I was researching the area and came across his channel and I had to go visit Gibbet Lane for myself. So go give him a follow to see his adventures and paranormal investigations.
Gibbet Lane is a long stretch of disused road with woodlands and fields on either side. It was a wet and windy day when we decided to make our way along the path in the hopes to find the terror in the trees that is the ghost of Gibbet Lane.
It was at 5 p.m. on December 18th, 1812, when gentleman farmer Benjamin Robbins was brutally attacked. The 57-year-old man was making his way back to his home at Dunsley Hall following a very successful day at Stourbridge Market. Benjamin had been drinking in one of the local taverns, called the Nag's Head, which was a coaching inn. He was celebrating his success at the market when 32-year-old William Howe, a working-class joiner, first set eyes on him. William was known for liking good quality hats and clothes. He fancied himself as a bit of a highwayman, only without a horse, as he couldn't afford one. William was always on the lookout for somebody to steal from, and unfortunately Benjamin Robbins was in the wrong tavern at the wrong time. He became William's target. After leaving the Nag's Head, Benjamin made his way down Fir Tree Lane, when he noticed that there was a person following him. Benjamin was just half a mile away from Dunsley Hall when William finally caught up with him. William pulled out his pistol, cocked it and shot Benjamin in the back. He stole 21 shillings and a fine silver pocket watch from Benjamin before leaving him for dead in the middle of the lane. William ran off into the night. Benjamin managed to crawl his way back to Dunsley Hall and was taken care of by 2 doctors. He lingered somewhere between life and death for 10 days before eventually succumbing to his injuries. The death of Benjamin Robbins caused outrage in Stourbridge and Kinver, with farmers scared that any one of them could be next to be killed and robbed. The criminal was on the loose and could strike again at any given moment.
The magistrates decided to call in 2 Bow Street runners to investigate the case. These were the famous Harry Atkins and Sam Taunton. There was also a £100 reward from Benjamin Robbins' family, and £50 reward from Kinver residents, and another £50 reward from Stourbridge residents, as very often they could bring the murderer to justice when there was extra money given. The more money, the more likely it was for people to talk and the crime would be solved.
One witness came forward and described a suspicious character wearing a dark coat, a tricorn hat, and said that he had a pistol that was sticking into his waistband. He said that this mysterious man was lurking in the bushes. Another witness described how he had seen the victim, Mr. Robbins, walking up Fir Tree Lane, and another man who he did not recognise was following close behind him. He explained how he was struck by the pursuer's fierce expression, saying that he had never seen a more evil pair of eyes in his entire life.
The landlord of the Nag's Head Inn in Stourbridge also recalled a very suspicious stranger who had spent most of the day in the pub, drinking in the tap room. This man seemed particularly interested in Mr. Robbins. He went on to describe the stranger, saying he was a short man, that he was very thick-set, and that he was around 30 years of age. He wore a tricorn hat, riding boots, and a rather elegant fawn-skin waistcoat.
The fawn-skin waistcoat was to be William Howe's undoing. A witness stated that a man wearing a fawn-skin waistcoat was seen to hire a carriage to take him to Ombersley. The Bow Street runners were hot on his trail and traced him back to Ombersley, where he was employed. They found that he had already made a run for it. His employer gave William Howe's name to the runners and told them that he had packed up all of his belongings on the previous day and had left without notice. An attendant at the coaching station at Worcester informed the detectives that a man matching William Howe's description had arranged for 2 boxes to be dispatched to the Castle and Falcon in Aldersgate Street in London. So the detectives headed for the capital, where they arrived just in time to apprehend William Howe in possession of the boxes. In one of the boxes there was a pistol and gunpowder along with 3 bullets that were all wrapped up neatly in a fawn skin waistcoat. William Howe was taken back to Stourbridge, where he was positively identified as the suspicious character that had been seen in the Nag's Head Inn. The Bow Street runners arrested him and brought him in front of the Stourbridge magistrates, who charged William Howe with wilful murder, and he was clapped in irons and sent to Stafford Jail to await his trial.
After hearing all the evidence, including that William Howe had pawned the silver pocket watch in the Worcester pawnbrokers that he had stolen from Benjamin Robbins, and that the pawnbroker remembered his face, and that whilst in jail William Howe had got a fellow prisoner to pass a letter to his wife to tell her where a second pistol was hidden and for her to get rid of it. But unfortunately his wife couldn't read, so she asked somebody else to read the letter for her, and they went to the police.
William Howe's trial didn't last very long, and the jury retired for only 7 minutes before returning with a guilty verdict. Mr. Justice Bailey sentenced William Howe to be taken to a place of execution, there to be hanged by the neck until dead. After he was hanged, he was to be placed in a gibbet. A gibbet is a structure that is used as a form of public exhibition. It is a gallows-type structure from which the dead or dying bodies of a criminal were hanged on public display to deter other existing or potential criminals. Gibbeting was a common law or judicial punishment that a judge could impose in addition to execution. The crowds gathered to witness the macabre arrival of William Howe's deceased body, and followed in a melancholy procession as William Howe's corpse was conveyed to Fir Tree Lane and suspended in chains for the mortal benefit of the local citizens. William Howe's creaking corpse swung in the gibbet at the lane until it fell to pieces. The rest of his bones were taken down and buried underneath the tree. It was said that they put a dagger through where his heart would have been to keep his spirit in the ground. But this did not work, and the spirit of William Howe very quickly made himself known, and many sightings of his ghastly ghost have been reported. Fir Tree Lane soon became known as Gibbet Lane. On one occasion, a local woman was walking down Gibbet Lane. It was a clear moonlit night, and she became suddenly aware that there was a menacing presence following her. It is said that when she finally caught sight of the person that was following her, she was shocked to see a phantom with his neck outstretched. She said that his neck swayed from side to side as if it was broken. The scary spirit disappeared on reaching the spot where William Howe's corpse had been hanged in chains in the gibbet years before. Even whilst he was still suspended in the gibbet, there was a story that 2 school children in 1813 came along to have a look at the decomposing corpse. One of them shouted up to William Howe, asking how he was, and there was a strange silence followed by an eerie whispered response back that said, "Cold and clammy." Walking down Gibbet Lane is truly an eerie experience. People claim to hear the sound of metal rattling from up in the trees. There are sightings of a dark, shadowy figure following them down the lane. The feeling of disorientation and fright creeps over you, causing the hairs on the back of your neck to stand up. The atmosphere is dark, thick and oppressive. Even in the summer sunshine, the lane is an uncomfortable place to be. So after this terrifying tale, there's only one question to ask. How many brooms do you rate Gibbet Lane?
Well, I'm going to rate Gibbet Lane 3 brooms. Basically because it was very eerie when we walked down there, even in the daylight. And nature is reclaiming the road, and it's just a very eerie experience.
And you're not really supposed to be down there, are you?
No, in fact, traffic is not allowed down there at the moment, and there's a gate at one end of the lane that stops you going down there after dark.
Oh, that's very spooky.
Yes, I wonder why.
Do you think it's because of William Howe's ghost?
Yeah, probably swings across and hits you in the head. Well, that concludes our adventures for this week. If you enjoyed our ghost story today, please like and subscribe. There is more on the way.